My 365 Podcasts with me, Pete Cohen. It's Pete Cohen here, and welcome to the podcast. This is the fourth in this series of 4 podcasts in how to make this year your best year yet. Now, I just laughed there because I was laughing at myself because I just recorded what I believe is probably the best podcast I've ever done in my entire life, then went to save it and realized that I hadn't recorded it. And it was funny because then I had a choice of how I was going to take that, because I felt I put the best into something and it hasn't come out. But now my challenge is to rise to the challenge and make this the best podcast I've ever done in my entire life. Make it better than the one before, make it better than the 120 we've already done of the My 365 podcasts. That's my challenge, and that's your challenge, I believe, to make this year better than the year before, and in fact to make this day better than the day before. And that is a challenge. The easiest thing to do is to not do that. The easiest thing to do is just to do what you've always done. And if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. And the chances are you'll feel dissatisfaction from that, because there's a calling in you to do something great, to leave this world in better shape than you did than when you came here. Look, but before we get stuck into this fourth podcast, and the fourth podcast is all about how to make a great day, 365 days of great days, getting some momentum, getting you really into the game. But before we do that, I need to just let you know that today's episode is brought to you by My 365 Elite. Go and head over to my365.me/elite. That's mi365.me/elite. And go and find out how you making an investment into yourself of just £1 a day into you getting world-class coaching. I believe I am the best coach in the world. I am the king of coaching. Maybe there's someone out there. All I'm trying to say in this is I'm not trying to be better than anyone else, but I'm trying to be the best that I can be, the most inspired human being on the face of this earth. And if you want to come along and tell me that you are the most inspired person and you are the best coach in the world, well, maybe we can go to work on proving each other wrong. How do we prove each other wrong? By inspiring more people like you to rise up and be the very best version of yourself. I believe that everybody needs coaching. I had a coach for 16 years of my life who massively affected my life, personally, physically, mentally, emotionally, everything. I believe his advice saved my wife's life, and I also believe that he made me millions by the advice that he gave me. We sold a company which just changed our life around, and I am providing everyone who works with me the tools, the techniques, and the master classes. And that's what you get when you become a My 365 Elite member. You get access to what I believe is the greatest material, the greatest master classes, that by 365ing your life and by going through a process, we will skill you up in personal leadership, in confidence, in mindfulness, in breaking habits, conquering fears, so that after 365, you've graduated from the My 365 Elite University in the best possible shape to take on what life is going to throw at you, and for you to take on what you're throwing at life, where you're deciding to move your life. So let's get on with the show. This is the fourth of the 4 podcasts that we've done on Your Best Year Yet. And I am delighted to let you know that we will also release a bonus, which is a goal-setting masterclass that we did live. We did it live on Facebook. We recorded it, and it's available for you. You can just listen to it, or you can watch it. It's about an hour long, and an hour is a significant amount of time. But look, there are many things in your life that you can lose. You can lose your glasses, your keys. You often find them again, but you can lose your health. You can lose your house, your money, but you can in many cases get those things back again. But time is one thing you can't get back. Invest your time into going to work on yourself. This is where so much regret, anxiety, depression, and sadness live in human beings, because they just know they're not being who they're capable of being. And that's why you need a coach. So in the first podcast, we looked at how to turn your revolution, or your resolution, I should say, into a revolution. As I just move to the side and draw my sword again, we need to cut off. We need to decide to move forwards where we don't make a resolution which is one part of us against another. I'm going to do this instead of that. That never really works and doesn't work for very long. And that's why by January the 15th, apparently, most people's resolutions have gone out the window. But a revolution is where you decide to overthrow. It's a new regime, a new order where it's almost like the old one never existed. And in that podcast, I started to explain to you how you could do that. And then the next podcast, we looked at turning your desperation into your inspiration. Really, it's about having both of those forces. They're both powerful forces to be desperate to move away from something, which many people have done. Desperate to move away from illness, desperate to move away from an abusive relationship, desperate to move away from a job they didn't like. But the big challenge that you and I face is just when we get comfortable. And comfortable is a disease. Our forefathers never really had that luxury of being. It's nice to be comfortable, but just don't get too comfortable, because then you'll give up. We need to, if you want to thrive and if you want to leave this world in a better place than you came here with, you're going to have to constantly look to work on yourself. But the great thing comes in the sense of achievement from doing things that often you didn't want to do. Have you ever gone into a room in your house and it's dirty, or you needed tidying up, or there was some paperwork? You didn't feel like doing it, but how did you feel afterwards? This is where we really have to go to work on delaying gratification. In one of our first podcasts we did with Mr. Joe DeSana, the founder of Spartan Races, an inspirational guy, talked about why human beings need to practice delayed gratification. Oh, there's some chocolate. I could eat that. It's very attractive to me. I know I feel good, but I'll eat it tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes, oh, there's some chocolate. I can eat that tomorrow. Start building your delayed gratification muscles, because that's what willpower is all about. So it's all very well being desperate to move away from something, but it's also really important to be inspired. And that's what My 365 is about. The I in My 365 is about inspiration, breathing life into where you're going. And most of us have been downtrodden in our life and it's been beaten out of us. Just sipping my coffee here. Do you like my mug? Those of you that can see this. If you want to see these podcasts and you're listening to this on iTunes or wherever you're listening to it, head over to my365.me/podcasts and you can see most of our podcasts as well if you want to see me. But you don't have to. You can just listen to me and take on whatever is appropriate for you. But I'm here as a coach to drag you forwards, to push you forwards to the point where you can push yourself, where you motivate yourself. You become the most inspired person in your life because you want to follow yourself. And that's what your best year yet is all about. You becoming the person that you wake up and you think, I want to follow this person. I like the way this person is living their life. I like this way the person is creating something and moving towards something. That's what inspiration is all about. Our third podcast was all about breaking habits. Habits are what we are, who we are because of our habits. But most of us have been never taught how to create new habits and get rid of ones which don't serve us. And I took you through the habit busting formula in the third podcast. And today is all about how to create a My 365 day, a magnificent day, a masterpiece day. This is what I really want to share with you. And I know it's taken me a little bit of time to get to this point, but let's start. Let's talk about what does a great day look like? I think so many people still think that they're waiting for a great day to happen. Please write this down. A great life doesn't happen by chance. I might be wrong, but all of my years tell me it doesn't. Look, Michael Jordan, if I'm not wearing something My 365 related, I love our business, I love our company, I love what it stands for. If I'm not wearing that, I will probably wear something Michael Jordan related. He's one of my heroes. I've never met him, but I've read many books. I've watched probably pretty much every basketball game I've ever been able to find because he was who he was because of hard work and dedication. People just thought he was talented, but talent is only going to get you so far in life. You need a lot more than talent. You need rituals. You need a template for every single day. We call them, you've got a lag goal, which could be a big goal that you're working towards, writing a book, getting fit, getting healthy, whatever it is. But then you need lead goals, and the lead goals are what leading you every single day. So you might also want to write this down, mastering the mundane. When you look at great people and you think, what are they doing? Well, they're showing up. We talk about this a lot, showing up. I show up every day for our elite members, Monday to Friday, broadcasting as we go through the 365 Elite University every day or every month. We're working on different areas. So this month, best year yet. Next month, it's wellness. We spend a month helping you design this life and help you get results. We're not just librarians who are looking after books. We're taking those books, we're taking that information and putting it into plans. So let me tell you about my 365 day. I've never had the perfect day. It's like golf. No one's ever played the perfect round of golf. The perfect round of golf is a hole in one every hole. So that would be a net score of not very many. It's never happened, but striving towards that is a great thing to have. So you might get close, but if you don't do this, you go into reacting mode. And this is what I see all over the world, people who are not taking control of their lives because they are just hoping and reacting to what happens. So they wake up in the morning, and many people, the first thing they do is turn on the phone, and it's often looking at messages, someone wanting something else from you, or you searching for some form of self-affirmation because someone's liked your post or someone wants you. And then you go into reacting mode, or you watch the news. My wife used to watch the news. She never watches the news anymore. She's realized that it's someone else's news and it's often depressing and there's nothing she can do about it. And that's what I want to ask you. What can you do about your day? It's about mastering the mundane. And for me, it starts the night before. If I need to go to bed early, super early if I can, and I'm in a position I can do that. You might not be, but a great day starts with a good night's sleep. So if I go to bed like very super early, 8, 9 o'clock, I can get up at 4. And at 4, I get downstairs. It's a sport to me to see how quickly I can start to engage with journaling. You know, we have the My365 journal, which I use, and this was designed specifically to help you create a series of great days, asking you the questions and the process that we take people through. You can go and check this out for yourself. Journaling is a fundamental. My life has revolutionized since I started journaling. Go to my365.me/journal. Then I also do this. This is something I do. I draw where I am in my life, and I draw where I'm going. And look, there's the year 2040, and I map this all out. It looks like it takes a long time. I can do it in 10 minutes. And I put the clock on. I say, hey, Siri's not in the room. Siri, set my alarm to go off in 10 minutes. And I don't like structure. You know, I'm not someone, but I realize I've got to structure my time. I want to create my day. I don't want to react. And I know that regardless of what's going on, if I go back to my rituals, then I've got a chance of creating an amazing day and bringing my goal to life, which is by the year 2040 to have inspired 100 million people around the world, to leave this world in an amazing shape and to help you, yes, you who's listening to this or watching this, to realize you're amazing. You've got gifts and talents, and there's so much more that you can do, but you need to start realizing what you need to do every single day. So for me, come downstairs, glass of water, journal. Then for me, I love to learn, I love to grow, and I love to teach. So I get myself ready that by 7 o'clock, I've learned something. I've grown in some way. I meditate. We have meditations. All our members use our meditations. There's one I use specifically that I designed. It's called Priming with our great podcast editor, Casey, and also the Gemma Murray, who put all of the music together. Priming is a way of priming yourself to feel great in the moment and start seeing where you want to go. Then I will exercise. I'll either do 25 minutes of fairly vigorous movement, or I'll do some yoga, because my body is designed to move, and it puts everything in place. Now, it's mundane to a lot of people, but this is what life is. Master the mundane, and then magnificent things will happen. If you can see behind me, there's the word magnificent, Magnificent 7, which is our strategy or our tool for getting the fundamentals in place for your health. You see, there are unique fundamentals for you based on, the life that you live. If you're a writer or a leader, there might be unique things that you need to do every day, but then there are universal ones. And the universal ones revolve around eating, moving, sleeping, thinking, talking, even pooing, exercising, all these things. And we have a system in our journal to help you get good at doing those things. Look, there has to be a sacrifice for all of this, but we want to help you make the right sacrifice. Not many people have made the wrong ones because they're doing things which just don't work, setting themselves too higher expectations and never really going anywhere, rather than what's the one thing? What's the one thing that if you did every single day, you know that over time, something significant will happen? See, when I really started engaging in rituals, I didn't realize what was happening at the beginning because there were just little things. But after 3 or 4 months, and even longer with the yoga, I really started to realize, oh my God, I'm so much more flexible. But I didn't really realize it. My eyes were on the prize, but we need often to take our eyes off the prize and focus on the process. People are obsessed. Golfers are often obsessed with the prize, and then they stop focusing on what they're doing. It's great to, I know where I'm going, but it's what I call results apathy, where you let that results go and you come back to today and think, okay, now what needs to be done? What do I need to do today? This is powerful information, and if you put this into play, you'll be able to look back one day and go, you know what? I played well. I mentioned this in the last podcast. Look, it's okay to suck at something, but it's not okay to skip it. So I'll just do this one day. I might not do it another. No. Habits will die if you don't do something consistently. If I said to you, come and knock on my door every day for 1 year, 365 days at 7 a.m. After a year, I'll give you £365 million or 365,000. Would you do it? Of course. Why? Because there's something in it for you. That's how I treat this process. If you come and work with me for a year, and like I say, if you want to find out how that works, go to my365.me/elite and see what happens, what other people have done. They've created many of the people who have worked with me have created millions. Many of those people have created the body, the book, the things that they wanted to achieve that in many cases are worth more than millions to them because they went to work on themselves. Ask yourself, what is the life that you're looking to create? And having extrinsic goals of a big house, a big car, all those things, the things, there's nothing wrong with wanting those things inherently. But for me, I'm much more interested in the intrinsic goals of helping and inspiring you. Inspiring people all over the world to wake up in the morning, put a smile on their face, and go out there and enjoy this unique gift of life that you have. There are many things in life. It's funny because I can't even remember if I've said this, because if you remember what I said at the beginning of the podcast, I recorded a podcast and it didn't record, and my goal was to make this the best one I've ever done. I don't think I've said this, and even if I have, you probably need to hear this one again. There are many things in life you can lose. You can lose your health. You can lose your money, but you can get most of those things back. I have said this. I'm talking inside my head, which means I'm a bit crazy. But you can't get back time. What you do with time is the most significant thing you'll ever do in your entire life. So taking time and using it for yourself, we call it now time as opposed to psychological time. Psychological time is when you spend way too much time in worry, fear and doubt, anxiety, depression. Now time is when you engage in something that in many cases, as Martin Seligman talks about, who's the forefather of positive psychology, PERMA, P-E-R-M-A, a great life. P, positive emotion, harvested every day. E is engaged in something. And hopefully you're engaged in this conversation. You can feel where Pete Cohen is coming from. Pete Cohen is talking to the real you, the part of you that wants to be incredible, be amazing, be significant, be happy, be healthy. The R is relationships, having great relationships. And maybe I know you, maybe I don't know you, but I'm in a relationship with you. And I want you to go and create meaningful relationships with other people. The M is meaning. A great life has meaning to it. And I believe that your life, the meaning of your life is the meaning you give it. And A is for achievement, achieving things. And this is where most of us, because we don't identify with where we want to go, We just hope that we feel better or that things happen to us rather than identifying this is where my life is going. And you identify with that so strongly that you are determined every day to act in a way that moves you forwards in the direction that you want to go. Now, I know this sounds like psychobabble maybe to some of you, but this is real. This information I'm giving you is based on years and years of research, of working with people, the results we get with people. And if you want to see some of those results, go to my365.me/elite and look at some of the videos on there and the stories of people who have turned their life around, everyday people, not just world and Olympic champions and millionaires that I've worked with. I'm more interested in people, I don't care, I'm just interested in people that want more, want to create more and be better. So it happens by design. You decide today, what is it that you could do of significance? Just going back to that story of knock on my door every day for a year, and I'll give you £365,000, you would do it. What would if you paid £1 a day to go to work on yourself for 365 days and apply what I'm sharing with you here today and all of the other stuff that comes from being a My365 Elite member? What would happen as a consequence of that? Be curious. Ask it, what would it be like if I was fitter, healthier, had more energy, if I had more, and you start to get fired up by that, you'll realize, wow, you're awesome. You're incredible. So has this been useful to you? What's your number one takeaway from this podcast? Write it down. Tell someone. I'm just going to go back here and I want to make sure that I've covered everything that I wanted to cover. Remember, this is the 4th in the series of podcasts, and we're going to release straight away, I believe, our bonus game-changing, goal-setting My365 Masterclass. That's about an hour long. Allocate some time, dedicate some time to it, and get a pen and paper and go through that process. And again, I dare you to share that with other people and tell people, look, this is the year that I'm looking to create. This is what I want. Maybe some people will help you and support you. Maybe some people will laugh at you and go, don't be ridiculous. Just be normal like everybody else. I don't think you want to be normal. And I think you know that you don't want to be normal. So if you've enjoyed this, what's your biggest learning? What's your biggest takeaway? Share that. And if you're watching this on iTunes, we are still in the top 10 of the most noteworthy and newsworthy podcasts, even after over a year. If you've enjoyed this, make some comments, please, and give it a rating and share it. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching this on our webpage, my365.me, share it. You can share it on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. Make some comments. Let's get this information out there. We really appreciate all of our members, but you can help us achieve our goal, which is to inspire over 100 million people over the world, around the world. Thank you so much for being here. Let's create this amazing life by design, not by chance. Thank you. Can't wait to hear from you and see how you're using this information to create an unbelievable life. Not now, but right now. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. And if you want more free inspiration to optimize your life so you can achieve your goals in all the different areas of your life, then visit my365.me. That's mi365.me and sign up to 365 days of free coaching with me, Pete Cohen. Thanks for listening and have an awesome day.